Во февруари 2019 година во атарот на селото Ласкарци на автопатот Скопје-Гостиван полн автобус со 51 патник излета од патот и падна во провалија, при што загинаа 16 лица и повеќе мина беа тешко повредени. На 8 септември 2021 година избувна пожар во модуларната болница за COVID-19 пациенти во Тетово. Во пожарот живи изгореа 14 лица, од кои 12 пациенти, а 2 роднини на пациентите. Само 2 месеци подоцна, во ноември 2021 година, македонски туристички автобус во Бугарија се преврте и веднаш се запали, при што 46 лица живи изгореа, меѓу кои и 12 деца. Во тие 2 месеца во 2021 година, народното незадоволство и гнев беше абсорбирано во деновите на жалост и на социјалните мрежи. Вината беше префрлена на грешка на возачот, лош късмет, судбина, а правдата за преживеаните и фамилиите на жртвите остана да виси по судските ходници на деградираната правна држава. Пред 3 недели 57 лица загинаа во директен судир на патнички и товарен воз кај местноста Темпи во Грција. Иако ова беа подеднакво ужасни трагедии, сепак сосема различен беше одговорот на јавноста во соседна Грција. Масовни протести, најголеми во последните 10 години, над 100.000 во Атина, над 50.000 во Солун, секојдневни локални иницијативи на различни организации, до генерален штрајк пред 3 дена на 16 март. Подетално за тоа што се случува во Грција во последните 3 недели, во ова издание на Свести имаме директно сведоштво од другарот Јоргос Михаилидис, член на Интернационалниот комитет на НАР.
The decisive moment for the creation of this movement was that even if the government and the major parties wanted to establish a 3-day mourning period, political organizations, left-wing communist and anarchist political organizations immediately called for demonstrations. In this way, they managed to channel people's dissatisfaction to the streets and not just to social media and mourning events with candles and so on. Simultaneously, we made different activist actions like opening big banners in public buildings, public spaces, writing graffiti and more. So 4 or 5 days after the incident, it was now evident that there was big public rage expressed in the streets of most Greek cities. At the same time, as I said before, pupils and students decided to occupy their schools and universities and call to the streets. And then it was time for our people in workers' unions, for our representatives in workers' unions to put pressure on the bureaucracy to set a date for a general strike. And we finally achieved it, but this wouldn't have been achieved if the first day demonstrations and actions hadn't happened. Between big central events, local demonstrations were called, so every day there was something in the neighborhoods of big Greek cities. In the local demonstrations, students and pupils could take part more easily. And also, all this spirit actually affected broader parts of the society. For example, football fans in almost all Greek stadiums put banners, big banners against the government, demanding justice for the victims and punishment for those responsible for the crimes. It is clear that the bureaucratic forces in the workers' movement and the major parties that took part in it were actually drawn to it because of the public outrage, but they do not really have a plan of development, for the development of this movement, and they do not have any plan of giving it deeper characteristics. And this is why during this movement, we created a coordination center organized by grassroots workers' unions and students' unions, and of course other workers and people with a fighting spirit. The logic behind the creation of this coordination center and assembly is to independently organize people's forces, give them deeper characteristics, politicize the movement, and continue the struggle. So up to now, to a great extent, we have achieved to defeat the main narrative of the government and of the state that this tragedy occurred because of bad luck, that it was just a bad coincidence or a bad personal decision by a worker. They wanted to disconnect this tragedy from its real roots, the political decisions that were taken by this government and the previous government under the capitalist and neoliberal logic of undermining public sector, of placing enterprise profit before social needs. And this is a first victory. People, and especially young people, and this was evident in all demonstrations, have started realizing that privatization kills, and not only privatization, but the capitalist logic kills.